welcome to Harrison Hacks.
Hey guys, welcome back to Harrison Hacks. This is a how to install my HyperArcade build. Basically, if you are a Patreon, then this is available to you in the description of this video. If you're watching on YouTube, please, if you want to be a Patreon, if you're interested in this HyperArcade build, go ahead and sign up to be a patron on my Patreon page, and you can have access to this as well as other builds and Patreon only how-tos and stuff like that. So let's get started. Once you've downloaded the file in the link, you're going to have this HyperArcade link text file. You're just going to open that and highlight out all of this and just copy and paste that into your browser, and then go ahead and download the file. Now it's going to take a while. It's a fairly big file. This one says 431. This is just a makeshift because I don't want you guys to sit here and wait for me to extract it all for you. So once you've downloaded yours, it's about, I believe, around 18 gigs. Go ahead and cut wherever you've downloaded it to, and we're going to want to paste it in the root of our H drive. Now, if you have HyperPie PC already installed, then you'll have an H drive. If you don't have an H drive, I do have another video on my YouTube channel on how to change drive letters within Windows. So go ahead and check that out. So basically, once we have it in the root of our H drive, we're going to right click and hit extract here. So I've already done that. Once we do, we're going to have a folder called HyperArcade. So we're going to go in there. And first thing we're going to do is go into utilities. If you don't have HyperPie PC already installed, then you're going to want to install this DX setup. So go ahead and click that shortcut, install DirectX, as well as your Visual C runtimes. The way I install them is I start at 2005, 2008, 10, 12, 13, and I end at 15. I just go from oldest to newest. If you need main BIOS files, there just happens to be a torrent here. If you need a ROM set, these are a merged set. Go ahead and there's another torrent right there. If you want individual games, I've got the link to MU Paradise MAME games inside of this text file. And I've also included 7-zip and Notepad++ just because they are handy tools to have. So once we've done that, you've got all of your Visual Cs and DirectX and everything ready to go. We're going to want to add some games, so I'm going to go to where I have my ROMs, and I'm going to go to Arcade, and I'm just going to put a few. For now I'll do 1941, 1942, and 1943. Then I'll go ahead and copy those, go back into HyperArcade, ROMs, Arcade, and paste. So I've included 1949 or 1950 snaps. These are all for each ROM. They're going to have their own theme. So if you do have a ROM and a theme's not showing up for you within a track mode, make sure your ROM name matches the theme name. So next, what I'm going to want to do is we're going to launch HyperArcade. So this is a shortcut. You can paste this on your desktop or you can leave it where it is. It's up to you. So HyperArcade is pre-configured for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 controllers. If you're using a different controller, I do have a video on YouTube on how to set up your controller within a track mode. You just press tab, go to controls, and then set them up. So there's your back button, up, down, left, right, and select means you're choosing a game button. So once you have your controls all good to go, let's go to emulators, and let's go up to Arcade, and we're going to scroll down to generate collection ROM list. Yes. Okay. So it wrote 3 for me. I've only added 3 games. So now we're going to go into arcade. This is where we've generated our ROM list. 1941, 1942, 1943. So let me just launch one here. I'll launch 1942.
Loading complete.
So again, everything's configured for PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360. So your select button or your back button will be your coins. Start will be start. And I've got my left analog moving me, so on and so forth. So press P on your keyboard if you want to pause the game, and if you want to change your controls, just press tab, and you could do input general, or you could do just input per game. That's totally up to you. I'm not going to get into it right now. And you can hit escape to exit MAME, or if you're in game and you don't want to be using your keyboard, just press start and select, and that takes you back as well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully it's all up and running for you. Now, one thing that I do recommend is add all your ROMs, generate your ROM list, and then add your BIOS files. Otherwise, your ROM list is going to include your BIOS files, and if that's the case, if that does happen, you're gonna have to go into Attract, ROM lists, Arcade, and I always open mine with Notepad++. And let's say this one was a BIOS file. You'd have to take that, or let's say the second one was a BIOS file. I would have to eliminate that. Sorry guys, I'm having a hard time with this mouse. It's a cheesy laptop mouse. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. So you'd have to go, let's say this was Neo Geo or some kind of other BIOS. You'd have to delete it and make sure there's no spaces. And that's a pain in the butt if you've got a lot of BIOS files. And then don't forget to save when you're done. So that's why I recommend add your ROMs, add all your game ROMs in here, then go back in, generate your ROM list in a track mode, and then exit and add all your BIOS files in your ROMs folder. So that's just a little helpful tip, so that you don't have to go through and manually edit your ROM list. I've done it numerous times. It's a pain in the butt. So I learned my lesson, just trying to give you guys a heads up. So I really appreciate you guys watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, become a Patreon member if you are interested in this build, other builds, and also I'm going to have, how-tos specifically for just my patron page, especially Daphne. I know that's a big one, so if anyone's interested in adding Daphne and stuff like that, then that's going to be on my Patreon page, and that's just an example. There will be other how-tos that will be patron only and stuff like that. So anyone who already is a patron, really appreciate the support, and I'm always trying to work on new things and help out with my how-to videos as much as possible. So again, guys, really appreciate you watching. Have a good day.